What's going on YouTube examples, TCG here coming at you with a brand new video, and today I am once again bringing you guys a deck profile with regards to the Blackwing deck that I have recently made. I made it pretty much last night, which was Sunday night. I'm obviously recording this on Monday and this is going to be going live on Wednesday. Excuse me, I've got a really bad cough at the moment, but anyway, I made this on Sunday night. It is a deck that I've wanted to make for quite a while. I had a lot of Blackwing stuff left over from the last time I played Blackwings, and I thought to myself, I want to kind of build a deck that I played with in the past, or a variant on a deck that I played with in the past, to kind of bring it to my locals, just to like mess around with, basically not take it too seriously, and just use a deck for a little bit of nostalgia reasons, I guess you could say. Hence why I ended up building the Blackwing stuff. Now I have got a few things coming in the post Yu-Gi-Oh related, hopefully by this Thursday, so the day after this video goes live. They're both structure decks, so you won't actually see me opening them on my channel. But once I've made a couple of decks, or a deck out of the two structure decks that are coming, I will bring you guys that deck profile. It is the latest structure decks to be released, so hopefully it's going to be a bit more of like a meta deck, I guess you could say, that I'll be bringing you guys fairly soon. But today, as I said, I'm going to be bringing you guys a video on Blackwings. So without further ado, let's get into the deck profile of the Blackwing deck that I'm going to be running. The actual setup I'm using right now is actually my dining table. I don't use it for dining, it's only me that lives in the flat I'm living at. So I've just kind of turned it into like a area that I'm going to be building decks and sitting down and going through stuff and opening stuff and all that kind of stuff. So it's a bit of like a mashed up setup, I guess you could say, but I'm hoping to move out fairly soon, so hopefully I will have some somewhere to actually make the videos a little bit more frequently, I guess you could say, or a little bit easier. I'm going to have an office in my new place, so I'm hoping to have a gaming desk and also like a spare desk for this kind of stuff. But nevertheless, let's get into it. Let's not procrastinate any further. So there's a few cards I don't actually have in the main deck. I think I'm only missing like 2 cards of the main deck and 2 cards of the extra deck, but I have put in like face down cards there just to like show that they're going to be used for a card in the deck. So now that we don't have any limit even on Blackwing YuGiOh the Whirlwind, there will be 3 copies of him being used in the deck. He is your main tuner of the deck. He is a very, very good card for the deck, and he is one of the best Blackwing monsters. I was very, very disappointed when this was down to 1 and it stayed at 1 for a long time, but he's recently been taken off of that ban list and put back up to the 3 copies, so I will be running 3 copies of YuGiOh the Whirlwind. Alongside YuGiOh, I'll be running 3 Shura the Blue Flame. I'll also be running 3 Kalutes, and I'll also be running 3 Borers as well. So the main reason I'm running 3 of each, obviously Kalute is your hand trap card of the deck. Shura the Blue Flame is just a really good card in general, and also Borer for the piercing damage as well. Pretty much a standard setup in most Blackwing decks back in the day, and if I was going to take this to like a proper tournament, I would not cut any of the cards here. Obviously they're not affected by the ban list, which is really nice. So I do run 3 copies of each of these particular Blackwings, just because I feel like they are the best Blackwings to run 3 copies of alongside your YuGiOh. So I do run 3 copies of each of those. Moving on to the other Blackwing stuff, I run 2 copies of Srocco the Dawn. Really nice card, he's basically your Cyber Dragon of the deck. I run another tuner in the form of Blizzard. Again, it's a level 2 compared to the level 3 of YuGiOh, so it just allows you to go into a few other plays and a few different synchros in your extra deck. And I also run the 1 copy of Vayu as well. It's not really a Vayu turbo deck that people used to play in the past, but I do run a sole copy of Vayu because I have a few plays that I could make with this particular card in the deck, so I thought to myself, why not add him in? So that is that's basically the lineup of the Blackwings for the deck. So I do run 4 other monsters in the shape of 3 Armageddon Knights. I use Armageddon Knights mostly because it allows me to go into the plays with my Vayu if I don't have my full dish in hand, and even if I draw into another Armageddon Knight and I already have Vayu in the graveyard and I haven't used his effect, I can basically send one of my other Blackwing monsters to the grave and then obviously pop Value's effect and get a synchro out of that. So I run 3 copies of Armageddon Knight. It's also a 1400 beta as well, so if it's got if your opponent has an empty board, he's quite a nice card just to play and attack with. And I also run the 1 copy of Dark Armed, pretty self-explanatory in this deck. Every single monster that you play is a dark monster, so this card more than likely will be seen or seeing use in the deck. So I do run the 1 copy of Dark Armed. So that is it for the monster lineup. Going on to the spell cards, I run the 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. Basically, obviously, Allure is pretty much used on every single card in the deck. As I said, they are all darks, so Allure is really, really nice to get into your plays, drawing into your plays. Obviously, you have to remove a card from play after you have drawn the 2 cards, but you can pretty much dump, for example, you can dump your Armageddon Knights if they're not useful anymore, or you can dump a Blackwing that isn't useful as well. Alongside the Allure, I do play the 3 copies of Black Whirlwind. Pretty much self-explanatory again in every Blackwing deck. If you don't run 3 copies of Black Whirlwind, I don't think you're playing the deck correctly. Obviously, that's my personal opinion. Some people prefer to run 2 copies. I prefer to run the 3 copies. It just allows you to go into so many more plays, and it's not really a brick card. It never really bricks in your hand, so it's nice to have the 3 copies of Black Whirlwind. I then run the 3 copies of MST just to get rid of any pesky back row that your opponent might be playing. It just helps out with getting through certain things, so I run the 3 copies of that. I also run the 2 copies of Dark Hole. 9 times out of 10, I don't really use the Dark Hole because I want to keep my Blackwings on the board. But if I'm in a sticky situation, I've only got like a couple of Blackwings or 1 Synchro or 1 Exceed monster on the board, and my opponent has a full board, I normally drop the Dark Hole on that board just to clear it out and like reset basically. I also run the wrong copy of Foolish Burial, so if I don't get my Armageddon Knights before I get Foolish, I just use Foolish Burial to put Value into the grave, and then I use an Armageddon Knight to put one of my Blackwings into the grave, and then I can synchro from the grave with Value. So that is why I run the wrong copy of the Foolish Burial. And the last card I run is Soul Charge. I didn't actually run this in the past because obviously it wasn't available for me to do so, but now it's out. It's a very nice card to have in the deck. It just allows you to make so many more plays and get so much more out of the deck. So that is a spell lineup that I do run within this particular deck. And then the traps, I run the 3 copies of Icarus Attack, pretty much self-explanatory in the Blackwing deck. It just helps out with destroying things, etc, etc. So the 3 copies of Icarus Attack, in my personal opinion, is the best to run. Yeah, okay, you could argue that you can take 1 Icarus out and put another trap card or spell card in, but I prefer the 3 copies of Icarus at this moment in time. Obviously, when I get to playtest a little bit more, I might end up changing my opinion, but at the moment, 3 copies is what I do run. I then run the Soul copy of Bottomless, Soul copy of Warning, and also a Soul copy of Torrential. Torrential, again, is another out. If I don't have my Dark Holes, I can just pop the Torrential and clear the board and basically reset and go from there. So that is it for the main deck. That's exactly 40 cards that I run in there. As I said, I'm only missing 2 copies of Gale to actually finish off the deck properly. So hopefully I can pick them up at some point when I go to my locals. Hopefully this weekend if it is on. If not, then obviously I'll pick it up next time I go, or I'll just buy it off of eBay. I don't think they're going for too much nowadays, so I'll probably end up buying it off of there if I can't get hold of it at my locals. So going into the extra deck is mostly synchros because of all the plays you can make with the synchro monsters in this particular deck. It's more of a nostalgia deck more than anything, but sometimes I will break it out when I go to my locals, when I start going there again, just to like have a bit of fun, have a bit of nostalgia, and just catch some people off guard, because not a lot of people are going to expect you to play Blackwings in the current format, let's be honest. To be fair, that's the same with every deck I've deck profiled so far. You're not going to really expect me to play Fire Kings, you're not really going to expect me to play Noble Knights, and you're definitely not going to expect me to play Blackwings, hence why I play like non-meta decks at the moment. However, you can't see it right now, I will show you at the end of the video, but I have another playmat just above the one you're looking at right now, which has like a load of different like potential decks just laid out there, and I'll show you in a second. I'll show you what I mean. But onto the extra deck, I will be running 2 copies of Armed Wing, Armor Master, and also 2 copies of Armed Wing. The best, in my opinion, the best Blackwing synchros you can run for the deck, hence why I am running 2 copies of those. I'm also running 2 copies of Vortex of Whirlwind as well. Reason I'm running 2 copies of Vortex is obviously when he's destroyed, you can special summon a winged beast monster. So he is really nice to have in the deck, especially when he does get destroyed. You can just use that special summon ability and be able to bring out one of your other Blackwings and just basically replenish and reset. So really nice card to have. I would run 3 copies, but I think 3 is too much. I think 2 is perfectly fine. So I also run a Blackwing Dragon. I can't even remember this card's name if I'm honest. Silverwind the Ascendant, and also a one of the newer cards. I can't actually pronounce his name, but him as well. These are the last 3 synchros I do run. Obviously in the past I ran Scrap Dragon, Stardust, Black Rose, all that kind of stuff when the deck was like mainly played. Part of me is debating taking this card out and putting in a Black Rose because I do like Black Rose as a card. It is a really good card in this particular deck, but I just don't really have the space for it at the moment. I guess I could take out a Vortex and put a Blackwing, a Black Rose even into the deck as well. There's a lot of things I could potentially do, but at the moment I want to play test with this card a little bit more just to see if it's worth keeping in the deck. If not, I'll take it out and I'll put a Blackwing, Black Rose even. I keep saying Blackwing, Black Rose Dragon into the deck. But that is it for the synchros. So on to my Exceeds. I play 1 copy of Castal, 1 Maystroke, 1 number 66, 1 Dark Rebellion Exceed Dragon, a Wind Up Zen Mains, and also a Leviathan Dragon as well to round it all off. I only play the 2 level 3s because I don't really run too many, ranked 3s. I don't run too many level 3s in the deck. The only ones I do run are Gale and also Kalut, so those 2 really I want to synchro into a level 6, but if I need to, I will obviously overlay into one of these 2 if I get put into a sticky situation. And the other ones are just there in case I want to go in something a little bit different than my synchro plays, or I can't get a synchro monster for whatever reason, so I'll overlay into a level 4 rather than a synchro summoning. If I could, I would play a full synchro extra deck, but I don't think that's really viable in the current meta, if I'm honest. So that is pretty much the deck profile, guys. That is everything I run in my Blackwing deck. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like, rating, and subscribe to the channel for more trading card game content. As I said, I'm hoping to bring you guys another deck profile in the near future, which will be a little bit more of a deck profile of like a so-called meta deck, I guess you could say. And I'm also hoping to bring you guys a video on my trading card game fairly soon. I'm hoping to upload one of my own trading card game videos over the weekend so you guys have a little bit of an insight as to what's going on with that. But as I said during the video, I will very quickly show you what's going on my desk. So if you have a look just up there, I have a few different deck potentials going on. I have the Dynamists, which I wanted to build when they first came out. Kind of stopped building them, but I want to rebuild them again. So they're there. I have Chim Critters, I think they're called, just there. At the end there's Dark Worlds. I have Ghost Tricks just here. And then the stuff that's laid out at the back, they are all Subterrors as well. I don't have too much of the Subterror stuff because obviously it's a fairly new deck. But I'm hoping to pick up a lot more of the Subterror stuff so I can actually make a Subterror deck. I have a couple of things actually in deck boxes in process of being built. For example, in this deck box right here, I'll very quickly show you what's going on in here without giving away too much detail. I'll just show you the top card, which is obviously a Shien, but then I'll also show you another card which will confuse the absolute hell out of you guys, which is a Wolf Light Swarm Beast. I'm not going to go into too much detail for that. I want to kind of keep that for a separate video, but I do have something going on with regards to that particular deck there. I also have another deck being built in here, which I believe to be Gravekeepers, because they've had a bit of a like a resurgence of support. And then I have another deck in the works in this box right here, which is actually a Macro Monarchs, which again is an old school deck that I think was around when Blackwings were being played. I'm not 100% sure on that, but part of me wants to say it was. So part of me wants to kind of build it just so I can have nostalgia battles against someone at locals. But nevertheless, guys, that is it for the deck profile for the Blackwings today. As I said, there will be future videos to come. I'm hoping to upload a lot more content to this channel on a regular basis, so look out for more stuff from myself. It won't always be Yu-Gi-Oh related. I'm hoping to start bringing you guys some more Pokemon content. I want to start bringing you guys some deck profiles on Pokemon as well. And also, as I said, there'll be stuff for my trading card game as well. I am making some good progress with the trading card game. I just want to finish off at least the first set before I bring, or at least finish off the cards I'm making for the first set before I bring you guys a video. But hopefully I'll have that video coming out at the weekend so you guys can have a little bit of a insight as to what I'm doing with my trading card game. But nevertheless, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you do enjoy gaming content, be sure to go and check out my Destiny channel. I'll leave a link to the description as always in the description down below, so you guys can go and check that out if you so desire. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next video.